There's a lot of inversions in the UK. A lot. In a coaster age where inversion seems to be dying a death and every enthusiast is begging for airtime, the UK still thrives on those good old positive G's. But why is that? The most obvious cause, to me, is a lack of space. Most UK theme parks are massively limited by the space they can use. For example, Alton Towers can't build in the gardens. That's over 200 acres of land that they just can't use at all. And they can't go above the tree line either, which means we have to build smaller, more compact roller coasters. We only managed to hold the height record for 2 years for a reason. And if you want airtime, it tends to be the larger coasters that get it, because they have more track, literally, to build those massive floater airtime hills. And these smaller, more compact coasters tend to favour inversions over airtime. And whilst inversions and airtime aren't the only elements on a roller coaster, they're the main ones. There's a reason why B&M Hypers are so well renowned for their airtime. So what are you to do? And this is the reason in 1994, whilst Blackpool were chasing the height record, John Wardley had a different idea. He wanted a fun ride, and after experiencing Batman the Ride, he knew it was just the fun and uniqueness needed, and more importantly, the intensity from the inversions. Partly because Nemesis gets so close and low to everything, the inversions work really well, as the intensity matches the landscape. Not just intensity on ride, but the combination of being intensity and low to the ground creates a lot of fear, which is particularly important when trying to market a coaster. But more on that later, because lack of space isn't the only place UK theme parks are, well, lacking. A lot of them don't have the financial resources. And this is because we don't have as many chain parks in America. We don't have Six Flags, we don't have Cedar Point. Well, I suppose you guys don't have Cedar Point anymore. We don't have SeaWorld, we don't have Disney. We'll have Universal soon. But my point is, we don't really have that many chain parks. We have Merlin Entertainments, which, to be fair, they are a massive company worldwide. But the only other company with a chain of parks that I can think of is the Looping Group, and they don't have the world's biggest budget. But they still managed to create fun, thrilling rides. And like I said before, airtime tends to mean larger coasters, and large coasters tend to mean more track. And more track, well, it's more expensive, isn't it? And the way to create more intensity with less track is essentially by twisting it. Inversions. And also, the only expense isn't from the track itself, but also from the manufacturers. When you think of companies with really good airtime, what manufacturers are you thinking of? For me, the first three that come to mind are Intamin, Bollinger & Mabiad, and Mack. And they're all quite expensive companies. Whereas when I think of more inversion-heavy coasters, I think of Gerstlauer. There's a lot of Gerstlauer coasters in the UK for this exact reason. Inversions are cheaper. And not only this, but UK parks are a bit different. Kind of in the same way that the UK is a bit different. The UK tends to have a lot of darker, grittier themes in the dramas in comparison to like the US. And I think a lot of that has to do with the heritage of the UK. There's a lot of historical sites and castles and Gothic architecture that we tend to draw our inspiration on. And the parks aren't limited to this. In fact, a lot of the parks are built around these historical sites. I mean, Alton Towers is literally built around the towers. As much as it is a theme park, it is also, to an extent, a heritage site. There's a reason they do so much work on the towers. It's preserving that history, keeping it around for generations to come. And typically darker themes tend to favour that history. Not only that, but like I said before, UK theme parks don't have loads of money, and darker themes are a lot easier to maintain than bright and bold themes. With bright and bold themes, the paint needs to be whacked on again the moment it gets chipped. But with darker themes, you can get away with a little bit of wear and tear. If anything, it makes it more immersive. And when we're thinking of darker themes, intensity tends to match it better than big, massive airtime hills. And there's a reason that Hyperia is marketed as essentially a hero ride. It's got a lot of big features and a lot of big airtime hills, and that out of your seat feeling doesn't quite match with darker, grittier tones. Whereas if you're going for darker, grittier themes, inversions perfectly match with it. I mean, look at the Smiler. The inversions perfectly match the craziness and the insanity of the ride. Like John Worley said, if you go for the biggest, fastest, longest ride, somebody's going to top you within the next year. Whereas if you always go for fun, everybody always likes fun. And what UK theme parks tend to interpret as fun is uniqueness. There's a reason that we've held the inversion record for the past 23 years, and it's because it draws crowds in. There's something enticing about being the world's best at something, and whilst you can try and build bigger, you eventually run out of space. And with inversions, in theory, you could keep on going forever. The Smiler was literally built so we could keep the inversion record off a rumoured 11 inversion coaster. Let me say that again, a rumoured coaster that was never even built. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what us enthusiasts think. It matters what the general public thinks. And I think a lot of the UK general public prefer more inversions over less. I know that my mum's favourite ride is the Smiler, as I know most people's favourite Alton Towers ride is. I mean, when me and my friends went the other week, my friends hadn't quite got their coaster kick throughout most of the day. I personally got it from Nemesis. It was running fantastically that day. But there was just something missing. And when we went on the Smiler, it was satisfying in a way. Because you wait such a long time for this intensity and thrill, and those inversions deliver quickly, and it gives a sense of satisfaction at the end of the ride when you're getting off. You feel accomplished, like you've just defeated some big monster. But despite my inversion craze, my favourite theme park only has 4 inversions total, and it still manages to top them all. So if you want to hear more about that, click on the video on the screen. Goodbye!